Hello, and welcome to Collect Jurassic World. I'm Victoria.
And this is Tim.
And we are your hosts on this adventure through all things Jurassic World.
That includes toys and collectibles, as well as movie, TV, and community updates.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the park is open.
Isla Nublar is approaching full capacity today, but we're ready to squeeze in a few more visitors here on Collect Jurassic World. Let's get away from the hustle and bustle and join Victoria out in the Gyrosphere Valley.
Hey Tim, that sounds like a great idea. I'm out here today doing a performance review for Josh. He's off to a decent start, but I've encouraged him to be a little more enthusiastic with the guests.
Hey, he just works there, okay? How about we head out in a gyro and check out those Apatosauruses? Or is it Apatosaurus? Or, I don't know. Apatosauruses.
Yeah, Apatosaurus. We got some interesting new assets here to talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, let's get to that later. We have so much to cover on the show today. I mean, I think earlier this season we thought we had a lot of toys to talk about, but oh my goodness, I feel like this is probably the most we've ever had to talk about at one time on Collect Jurassic World for sure.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of news, a lot of stuff. It's been a while since we've done our last episode, so we got a little catching up to do, and we're going to get to it.
For sure. And we'll kind of ease into it here because, again, there's just so much to cover. So we'll start off with something a little more obscure here in our asset tracking segment. This is where these toys are out to be found somewhere in the world. And we'll definitely get to some of those toys that are up and coming later. But for toys that, we're all kind of out hunting for right now, for those of you out there who are familiar with the budget line of 12-inch and 6-inch figures. Victoria, do you collect any of these at all?
I have some of them. I have most of the 6-inch budget, and I have a good little smattering of some of the 12-inch ones too.
Yeah, I mean they're fun. They're kind of a nice little accessory to the mainline figures. They're harder to find though, for sure.
Yeah, they are. They're a good little a desk buddy, or I kind of use them as stress relief just to have them around, or an emotional support dinosaur, that sort of thing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, definitely the 6-inch ones are great for putting on the desk. They're not quite as, I don't know, they're just a little bit more simple than the mainline figures in that they don't have all that articulation, so they're a little bit more friendly to just kind of have sitting around. I wanted to say they're not tempting to fidget with as much, but we're going off on some strange tangent here. But the 12-inch and 6-inch figures that Mattel makes, kind of are scale breaking. They do whatever. They basically just make figures at 12 inches regardless of the species. We've had some good ones. We have Proceratosaurus. They've had Dilophosaurus a couple times. There's been some cool species. But these new ones, I don't think there's any truly new species, but this new wave has Spinosaurus again, a 12-inch Spinosaurus. And hey, we'll take any Spinosaurus we can get from Mattel. So, and there's also, I think the Dilophosaurus is coming out again from 2018. It's the same deco if you're trying to catch up. And that's what's interesting about the 12-inch line. It's always repacking figures so you can kind of hit what you missed. But there's a new Pteranodon that came out that is just starting to hit, I think in Meijer stores here in the U.S. and probably a couple regional stores, I think. I'm trying to think of where someone else spotted one down the south. But there's a green Pteranodon that I absolutely love. I shared it on my Instagram, and it's my favorite Mattel Pteranodon, period.
Yeah, absolutely. These are fun, and it seems like these are just reissues, right? Even the Spino doesn't seem to have anything different.
No.
Okay.
No, the Pteranodon is technically new. It's a new colorway. It's the third one they've done, which is kind of fun too. But what I like about the budget figures for the Pteranodon is it doesn't have any hinges in the wings. It's just one solid wing, which all the Mattel mainline Pteranodons have some sort of hinge or folding mechanism to fit them in the box. So that's what I like about these.
Yeah, very cool.
And the 6-inch figures, they've kind of gone all over the place with those. They always hit those key species first: T-Rex, Blue, Indoraptor. You know, they got to hit those species before they get to the more obscure stuff. But we've got some cool ones before this wave. We got Indominus Rex, which was kind of fun in this little tiny 6-inch scale. We got like a wild colored Stygimoloch. But this new wave has a new Stiggy, which I've affectionately dubbed Doo-Doo Stiggy because it's like straight up brown, and it's glossy and kind of shiny. I don't know. I think it looks like the poo emoji in dinosaur toy form, but
Poor Stiggy.
it's kind of it's kind of interesting that, you know, Stygimoloch as a character for toys has had the same colorway for at least 2 years now. You know, never deviated from that. And now we're getting all these different colorways from Mattel for it, including Doo-Doo Stiggy.
Yeah. No, these are good. And, you know, it's like the name suggests, they're budget figures. So, you know, they're not for everybody. If you're just collecting the main line, they're easy to ignore. And like I said, I don't even have all of them. So, you know, they're just kind of supplemental, or if you're not even that hardcore into the line, maybe, you know, you just want to have like a version of some of these dinos, you know, these are an easy way to do that.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're like a Matchbox collector, some of them scale really well next to the Matchbox cars, and some of them kind of act as juveniles to your mainline figure species too. So, yeah, I think a lot of people just sort of, you know, cherry pick, collect these. I do that with the minis, which we'll talk about later. I only get the cool ones. So, but yeah, these are a couple new figures coming out, or a couple new waves, and these two assortments hitting. Real quick, we're going to switch gears from Mattel. Talk about Jada. I think I've been saying this wrong, which is of no surprise to you probably. I've been saying Jada everywhere I go. I was called out in one of my YouTube reviews about it, and I was like, oh, sorry. I guess it's Jada, diecast toy company. They've made some Jurassic collectibles before, but they just came out with their Hollywood Nano rides. I think I'm remembering that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and they're like miniature versions of movie vehicles, but the Jurassic Park ones are so cool. There's an Explorer, a Jeep, and a helicopter, and they're hitting Target like right now. I think they're on Amazon too, but they're awesome. I can talk about them a little bit in Trophy Room because I got a set already, but those are hitting, which is pretty cool. And you know, we don't get a lot of vehicle action here on the show.
Is Jada the one? Are they the ones that did some for Jurassic World in 2015 as well?
Yeah, they did. I think we talked about them last show, and I probably said their name last show wrong. They did the RC Jeep, and they did a new version of it already for this year. But yeah, back in 2015, they did a couple. They did a bunch of like Mercedes Benz from Jurassic World and like the Jeeps. So
yeah, okay, that's right. I have some of those.
Yeah, exactly. Just lots of love for the Jeep from them. But I'm hoping with this new Nano ride set with its little tiny Ford Explorer that you know, we kind of get diecast Ford Explorers and other scales that like they did for the Jeep, because I would take all the Ford Explorers.
Yeah. yeah. Of course, we want to see those classic vehicles, and yeah, I mean, if it's going to be a Jada mini diecast, fine, but you know, I hope we get to the good stuff eventually. Yeah,
the good stuff. I mean, that's a whole nother rant for another day, but the Jeep gets so much love, and the Explorer, I just feel like doesn't get as much love. Right. I always liked the Explorer more as a kid.
Me too.
It's just got those kind of eye-catching colors where I know the Jeep's a little more sophisticated, but
yeah, and it has a roof, so
right. I don't know. I always thought it was cooler. All right, moving on back to Mattel, because again, we have so much Mattel figures that we could talk about. This one's kind of a little interesting curiosity. Mattel Micro Collection, not to be confused with minis, Dino Minis, not to be confused with budget 6-inch figures, but these Micro Collection figures. What do you think of these?
Yeah, these are interesting. You know, I'm not going to be too sad if I'm not able to get them, but
I will be.
Yeah, I'm sure you will be. But no, I mean, they're interesting. I mean, these kind of remind me of, you know, those Hasbro did like these 4-inch like generic like Star Wars figures through. I found them when I went to visit my parents last at Five Below.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so something like that, or they're just like really like simple little like dinosaurs like on a base, little plastic base. So
yeah, they're straight up Dollar Tree figures. Like if you go into a dollar store, they have like little Pixar figures or little like Mickey figures, or like you're saying little Star Wars or Marvel figures. I mean, I feel like that's what these are. They're sort of like that price point. And so they're only available right now in like Mexico and Brazil, and I think some other country in South America. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're basically like $2 down there, which makes me think we're never going to go into Target and see these on the shelf next to the other toys. They're too cheap.
Yeah. They are. That Dimetrodon is cool though, because it's like the same colors as the Savage Strike one that we only saw one time.
Yeah. Right? It's cool. Yeah, so you said the Dimetrodon, and also there's the T-Rex blue Triceratops. What I think is cute about the Triceratops is it matches the Hatch and Play Triceratops that Mattel came out with, I think, in 2018. Like, it's the same everything. Same color, same design, same proportions. It's cute. It's a little chunky trike.
It is. And then like blue, and then maybe to a higher extent, the T-Rex kind of look like younglings, like they look like juveniles.
Yeah. Right. And I think that the T-Rex, unless I'm wrong, and this is just my color blindness coming through, it's the same color as the Legacy Collection 2-pack juvenile T-Rex that came with the Buck T-Rex, right?
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close. I mean, I think they all kind of match up to Mattel toy, different Mattel toy, with the exception of blue. Blue just matches up with blue. But the Dimetrodon, for sure, like you said, is probably the highlight, and sort of what makes this line that much more curious.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely some sort of Dominion delay undertones to this one. We'll never know the full story, but
we'll never know.
But the fact that we're getting this random Dimetrodon and this new toy line micro collection that's only hitting certain countries, it's just always that kind of stuff always sort of reeks of like kind of a squandered release plan or something like that.
Yeah, that's that's always super annoying. We go through this I feel like every few episodes we have to talk about something or other that hasn't made its way to the US, and it's sour grapes, but it happens, so
keeps us on our toes anyway. And it makes it interesting. I mean, it's always kind of, if you're, intent on collecting this stuff, you always kind of have to work a little harder for to get something like this.
True.
And I think Dimetrodon was like, I don't know. I don't think we've ever really peddled into like deep Dominion leaks, but I feel like at one point somebody was talking about, some species like Dimetrodon maybe being in the movie. So maybe that's why this figure even exists. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to see Dimetrodon in a movie. I'd like to see anything in the original Jurassic Park, like the toy line, like show up in Dominion, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see if you're going to come at it from that point. I want to see like a green Dimetrodon with yellow spots on its tail.
Yes.
I want it to be that. I would probably, how you see those videos where people like stand up and like scream like during the Avengers. I would do that if a Dimetrodon with the yellow dots came on screen.
Right.
I don't think anyone else in theater would, but I would.
And then that means that we would still need Tanistropheus, and we would need Lycanops.
Yeah. And then the Dino Trackers come up. Jaws Jackson.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I'm going crazy. You're gonna have to,
that'd be That's crazy.
Someone's gonna call the theater workers and say, this guy's got to sit down. He's being way too rowdy. But yeah, the micro collection, weird little set. No news yet if it's gonna come to the US, but I would imagine if it does, it could be a year from now. Who knows? It'll just like show up at Dollar Tree one day. Do you guys have Dollar Tree out where you are?
Yeah, there's a few of them around here.
Yeah.
We have Family Dollar. We used to have a Big Lots really close by, and then it closed a couple of years ago, and now it's like a gym. So but there's a few around here.
Big Lots used to be like the place for obscure toy finds when I was a kid.
It did.
Oh man, I found some like Kenner aliens there once that were like, they were like repacks of like the Kenner aliens I'd already collected, but they were like different paint decos, and it was, I mean, that was the kind of like mystery surprise I would always get going in that store. It's like, what could I possibly find that I didn't know about?
Well, that's interesting.
Because, you know, it was like different stuff than what you were used to seeing at the other stores.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess we should clarify for our international listeners. Dollar Tree is like a store where everything is literally $1.
Yeah.
I know I was talking to Tom Jurassic, and he was like, "What's a Dollar Tree?" And I'm like, "It's a store where everything costs $1." I don't know if you guys have a Pound Tree out there or what, but
yeah, there's also Dollar General, like.
Yeah, but not everything is $1 there.
No,
to be fair.
that's true. It's not, and yeah, there's other dollar stores too where things.
And Five Below, you mentioned.
Yeah, Five Below. Not everything's Five Below. There's things that are more expensive than $5. So.
Yeah. I can see these showing up at Five Below for sure. So we'll definitely keep you updated if they do.
Or maybe what they mean is it's $5 below MSRP.
I don't know. At my Five Belows, everything's $5. I remember one time I went into one and like some things were $5.25, and I was like, "What is this?" I had a cow, and the next time I went in, they were back down to $5. So I don't know. Maybe they were playing with going above the price.
The one by my parents' house, they definitely have some stuff over $5. So maybe.
Oh, what a ripoff!
Yeah.
They need to change the sign.
They need to change it. 10 below.
Yeah. I want to go on another tangent about Five Below, but I'll contain myself. But let's go back to
the dollar store podcast. We should make one of those.
Yeah, right.
I'll bet you that's one podcast that doesn't exist.
Right. Well, they got some cool toys at Five Below too. It's crazy. Moving on. Let's stop talking about these micro collection figures that we'll probably never see here. Amber collection we will see here, and I know we'll talk a little bit later on in the show about how these were revealed with Beyond the Gates, but Amber Collection, Tiger Raptor, and Pteranodon on Target's website already to pre-order, and a couple other websites too. These look cool. I think they look cool. The Pteranodon for sure looks cool. I know we have some mixed feedback on the Tiger Raptor.
Yes. So Amber Collection, it's that one toy line that Mattel has been at for the last few years that only has a really small handful of figures. Yeah. So it finally seems like it's expanding. And you're right. Some of these items like the Tiger Raptor and the Pteranodon have been on pre-order through Target. And like you said, other toy websites, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. In fact, didn't Big Bad Toy Store already receive stock on those two?
Yeah, I mean they're in stock. I think right now, like if you went on Big Bad, I mean right now as in when we're recording this, but yeah, they seem like they were the first out the gate. I know they've been spotted in Australia at a store called Toy World too, so they're kind of hitting it elsewhere at the same time. They'll be. I mean, I ordered them from Big Bad Toy Store, and they should be in my hands by the end of the week, hopefully. So looking forward to getting some new Amber Collection species in that Pteranodon. That Pteranodon looks awesome. I'm not even like a huge Jurassic Park 3 fan, but I've always kind of liked their Pteranodons. Just a classic Stan Winston sort of Jurassic movie monster.
Yeah, exactly. They're scary. They have teeth. And
they're big. Yeah,
and they're ready to feed you to their children. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I like how this has like bendable wings too. I'm anxious to see that in person, because sometimes that bendable stuff is hard to make look, like really straight. I guess once you bend it a certain way. So I'm anxious to see how like kind of the poses we can do with it, and how it sort of retains its integrity as a toy as you kind of bend it around and stuff. But it looks awesome. It looks very faithful to the movie.
It looks really cool. And there's a couple of versions that like initially they had publicized, like I say that haphazardly. Initially they had, or we had received or leaked photos that were a little bit different, right? Before the final version.
We kind of gone back and forth, but yeah, I mean, like I feel like the photos that leaked first were actually what the figure really looked like. And then we got the official images from Target, and there's like a weird light color around the beak. It looks, and you know what it looks like? It looks like the Legacy Collection Pteranodon that we got.
Right.
it looks exactly. It has like the same light colors on its head and stuff. But then I don't know if you know this, but I think Target or maybe it was Big Bad Toy Store. Someone updated their toy photography of this figure and like. Which we've never seen Mattel just update their toy photography, but now it's like kind of back to having the more natural, darker colors, which is what the toy actually looks like. So kind of gone back and forth. But
yeah,
the final figure.
Exactly. So it was like more brownish and then like more greenish, right? Like in kind of. Yeah. I like the brownish one better with the more red.
Oh, for sure. It feels way more like the movie.
Yeah, it does.
And that's the one we're going to get, I think.
You'll find out tomorrow.
Raptor, yeah, I'll find out tomorrow when it gets in the mail from FedEx. And the Tiger Raptor, I feel like when I get it in hand, I'm actually really going to like it. I think the promo photos they released for it are terrible. Not terrible like how they look for a toy, just terrible in their representation of what the toy ultimately will look like. They're really washed out, which we know they do that with those promo photos. In general, all e-commerce websites do that, but it's something about the Tiger Raptor. It really ruined kind of the look, made him really sort of all kind of glowy underbelly, white, and I think the actual figure has a lot more orange, a lot more saturation.
Yeah,
but
I'm
still
excited.
Sort of not quite the Tiger Raptor that like we were hoping it would be.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I know we talked about it on the last episode, I believe, or the one before that about Echo, how, it just, I guess the spirit of Echo maybe is somewhat there, but it's not really, there's nothing like distinguishing to Echo that makes the Amber Collection Echo. It's just, like, and I feel Echo. The same here. Like, it's got the idea of the Tiger Raptor, but it's just like, again, we'll find out when you get yours, but I mean, it's probably not going to look too much different from this.
No. I mean, I think we all have that like iconic promo photo of the Lost World Raptors in our heads when we would think about an Amber Collection Raptor. Like that's what I want it to look like, and even the eyes of this Amber Collection figure are just a swing and a miss. Like they're the main part of it that would have been easy to get right, and they just made him look like all the other Amber Collection Raptor eyes with the paint.
Totally. And we've often said the Amber Collection, and they marketed it this way when they first announced it, as like the collector line, for a lot of people are collecting 6-7 inch scales, and they expect, if you're going to pay more, $30, $25 for a figure, you want it to be more detailed, more accurate, and for them to just kind of drop the ball like that, it doesn't incite a lot of confidence, and for collectors that are looking for that sort of detail.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I don't really get it. I feel like with the main line, you can always sort of shrug things off as budget, or it's a toy for kids, so they don't really care about like nailing this film accuracy like you would think they would. But then when you get to these $30 Amber Collection collector grade, has the name of the movie printed on the box, like very fancy stuff, very intentional in how they're trying to market this as like this is from this movie. For them to, and I'm not trying to be dismissive. I'm like, I know that they work hard on these toys, but it's like, I don't know at what point this goes through a process of approvals where they cut a serious corner in terms of like dinosaur likeness. In the case of the Tiger Raptor, it's like someone made a wrong turn somewhere, or someone cut the wrong thing somewhere, because it just doesn't work.
No, and exactly. And, we complain about it not because we want to bash Mattel or we want to be critical, but because, because we care about, these toys, and we want them to be as good as possible, and we want them to be accurate. So, when they're not quite getting there, we need to kind of question it a little bit, and, it'd be nice to understand, their logic, because, a lot of the time there's logic that we're not privy to.
Yeah. But, right. Trade secrets, and we complain about it, but we buy 2 of them, so absolved from anybody.
So there's no incentive for them to make any changes,
Right, exactly. Like, don't do this, but I'm still going to buy it. But yeah, no, I think what you said is beautifully put. It's like we just care about it, and like we know how good a Tiger Raptor could be in the Amber Collection, and and if they really nailed this one, I can't say that it wouldn't, sell even more, because people would walk by it. I imagine these will be on the Target shelf one day, and people will walk by and be like, "Oh, that's from Jurassic Park too. I'm gonna grab that."
Yeah.
And I don't know if you get that recognizability like right now with how the toy looks, but like I said, I'm getting them anyway, so.
Yep, we sure are. We sure are.
And I'm sure by the time this publishes, maybe they won't be shipping quite yet from Target, but again, they're available on Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store. So anyone out there can grab them. And then moving to something a little smaller, we're kind of jumping up and down with all the different scales of Mattel figures we're covering in asset tracking. But Snap Squad in Australia, seems like we're always on the show pointing out some Snap Squad wave that showed up overseas somewhere. I feel like in the US relate to the game. But this, I think last time we were talking about the last Snap Squad wave that had, I think it had Bumpy, like a non-metallic Bumpy, and Grim. But this new wave that's coming out has Triceratops, non-metallic, kind of like a reddish brown color, a new Toro that actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Spinosaurus, which I think everyone is excited about. Again, any Spinosaurus we can get, people get excited about. Kind of like that, the new Extreme Chompin' Spinosaurus, would you say, colorway wise? Sort of a desert feel.
Yeah. These it's kind of deserty. I think that's an apt description. Kind of tropical, I guess it could be too. Yeah.
And then we have a raptor, just straight up Velociraptor, which this is interesting because when you look at the promotional photos of this Snap Squad line, this raptor was supposed to be a tiger raptor. And it looks like they abandoned that in favor of just something a little more generic. I don't know. Is this supposed to, if you're looking at the photo of these in hand, it almost looks like a repaint of one of the Raptor Squad raptors.
Yeah,
but it's not named.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does look a little bit like Charlie, I guess.
Yeah, right. I feel like it almost is. I mean, these pictures are hard because they have some really warm light on them, but it looks just like Charlie to me. Like, I don't know. I wonder if they just didn't name it Charlie, but it's quintessentially Charlie. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Which, if you're collecting Snap Squad, then you start thinking, well, give me Delta, give me Echo.
Yeah, right. It's just funny they wouldn't name it, because I feel like I know for a fact people that are collecting Snap Squads are like, I missed this version of the Raptor Squad. People could get it again, I guess, unofficially. So, more Snap Squads hitting. I'm sure they'll hit Target here.
And they're up for pre-order. Aren't they on Entertainment Earth, or is that a different wave?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Here, I'm going to go over and look, because they had a photo of, I saw them this morning when I was looking. I was surprised that they had Snap Squad.
They have so much.
Yeah, they do. It's coming in April 2021.
No, I did not see this.
Yeah, well, actually, I think these are different. These are the older ones, I believe, but still.
Well, you never know. No, it's kind of a mixture. It's a mixture of older and newer. So
true. It does say that breakdown not available at this time, subject to change. So
it has the old Spinosaurus, but the new metallic blue, but the even newer non-metallic Bumpy. I bet this could be anything.
I might pre-order one of those when I place my order. Just see what I get.
Is it 4? Doesn't even say. Oh yeah, 4 individually packed dinosaurs. Yeah. Well, it's gonna be. I would imagine it's gonna be one of the new waves, if not the one we're talking about on the show. So
yeah, why not? $23. Yeah. I'll give it a shot. See what I get.
Possibly, this wave's pre-orderable on Entertainment Earth, but it'll hit Target in due time. Target seems like they kind of have a way of working through Snap Squad figures and getting new ones on the shelf. Just we're a little further behind from the rest of the world, but at least we're in the game.
Yeah, we haven't gotten them here in some time, but I hope that definitely hope to see those show up a little bit more heavily, because I haven't seen really too much Snap Squad lately in the area.
Yeah, I know people are finding them at Kroger, which is a regional store. They're finding the non-metallic Bumpy and Grim wave there. So maybe those Kroger collectors will get a earlier shot at this new wave too. So
yeah, Kroger is in Southern California. It's Ralph's, so it's the same thing. So I wonder if I haven't been to a Ralph's in years, but I wonder if I went in if they'd have anything like that.
Yeah, you should check. Always worth it.
Why not?
Find a Big Lots while you're out. And then the final thing that we're going to talk about in asset tracking, which again we still have a lot more toys to talk about on the show, but again, just things that you can kind of hunt and order right now. Dino Escape Wild Packs finally, or not, I shouldn't say finally, but the first Dino Escape toy that we can actually order, it seems. Pre-orderable on Entertainment Earth, waves 1 and 2.
Yeah, these are another one that are quite exciting. Because we're getting some repeat, some new stuff, but this is the first time that they've rebranded this assortment since 2018. It's always been attack packs,
right?
Now it's wild packs, and there's 2 waves that are pre-orderable. And yeah, so there's a little bit of repeat that I'm not excited about in terms of species, but the ones that are new do have me pretty excited.
Yeah, and I think we can go over the species count here real quick. It's Zunicerotops, Herrerasaurus, Alioramus, Dracorax, Baby Brachiosaurus, and Dimorphodon. And those repeats, just to get those out of the way, are, Herrerasaurus, which this is actually a pretty cool coloration of one, honestly. We've gotten so many Herrerasauruses at this point.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we've gotten at least our 5th one.
Yeah, and that's not even counting the battle damage ones.
So there's a lot of them.
But the ones that bother me a little bit more are the Dimorphodons, because I feel like we get that every wave. We get a Dimorphodon.
Yeah, I know, it's excessive. This one again has cool colorways. I think we've talked about it. Like the whole sort of color scheme of these figures, just the shared palette and how they are applying their patterns is very cool.
Yeah, definitely a step up from other attack packs. There's a little more color on these guys.
Yeah. And then we got the Dracorax, which I don't even really need to talk about.
Looks like a dragon, like in that shot.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm totally over Dracorax. We haven't even got as many of that as we've gotten Dimorphodon, but totally over it. Sorry, Dracorax.
Yeah, same.
But Alioramus, I think, looks great. I think this looks better than the Alioramus we already have.
Yeah, it looks good. I don't know if I like it better, but it's interesting. I like the colors. I like it's like kind of got like a hazelnut latte sort of look to it.
Yeah,
with a little bit of colors. With a splash of orange on its cheek. It's interesting.
What's fascinating is the first version of this figure we have, they applied the same paint of the teeth on those little nubs on his nose or her nose.
Yeah, that's right.
And they didn't do that here, which is a little lazy, but maybe they're supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be plumage here versus like a proper horn or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Could be.
Or it's just lazy. But what is it? Zunicerotops? What do you think?
Zunicerotops. I'm not too familiar with this species, but I feel like it looks really skinny.
Yeah, it looks like it almost has like carnivore back legs or something. It's got a very interesting silhouette for sure.
Yeah, it does. I like the head though. The head has a fun sculpt, and
I like the color too.
The colors are fresh. We haven't had something that looks like that, so. Yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of seeing this as sort of Protoceratops size. It looks a little bigger even, but yeah, I love the colors, but that silhouette is a little weird. But I'm excited about it. Any new species, excited about. So, yeah. And finally, Baby Brachiosaurus, everyone's darling in this wave.
Yeah, it's the highlight of the set. We're all going to need multiples, and thankfully, Entertainment Earth says it's 2 per case. So,
is it? Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally need like 3 or 4 of these like playing around my giant Mattel Brachiosaurus's feet for sure.
Yeah, it looks this very similar color to our legacy Brachiosaurus that we all know and love, and maybe or maybe not sleep with at night. But no, I don't do that. My dog would get jealous.
Yeah.
But you're gonna like this on the first wave. Herrerasaurus is 2 per case.
Yeah. Of course.
And it's in wave 2 also, so go figure.
Yeah, that stuff just doesn't make any sense. There must be a method to all of that. But Baby Brachiosaurus just looks awesome. Again, it matches the Mattel adult pretty well. And, officially speaking, this is the first, juvenile they've released, that's, meant to be a juvenile. I know we have that tiny Triceratops that was part of the battle damage wave. But that to me has always just felt like a Triceratops, an adult Triceratops just scaled down.
Exactly.
It doesn't have right.
Yeah, that's never been like a baby to me because the horns would have to be short and
right.
And it says that this wave 1 is July and then it says wave 2 is October. So, a little bit of a wait, but still, it's exciting for me to get a Brachiosaurus baby. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't, people have kind of been chattering since I dropped the pre-order links the other day about, I'll just wait till they come to the store. But it's like, man, I always have such a hard time getting attack packs. And I almost always go on Mercari or eBay and just end up buying them because I can't find them. So it's like, give me a case pack all day long. I'll take it.
Yeah, no, totally. If it's repeat, whatever, I'll find some use for them or I'll find somebody that wants them. But
right.
I'm not going to, a lot of people are about the hunt, and, the thrill of the hunt. I
do enough hunting, okay?
Yeah, we do. But honestly, I just want to get the toy. If it's going to be by, Entertainment or shipping it to me and, it's going to that's going to take away my anxiety because I know I'm going to get the toy. So give it to me.
And we know sometimes attack packs are one and done. Like that brown Mosaurus wave. It was like you saw it and then it was gone. It didn't come back again.
I never saw it. The Mosaurus, I never got it. I still don't have it.
So it's like, when I want something like Baby Brachiosaurus, it's like I'm not gonna play the can I find it at the Chicago Target game. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to have Entertainment Earth send it to me, case fresh even.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. So you can go grab those at Entertainment Earth right now. And would you say July and October? So
yeah, we're excited. Can't wait to get them.
Yeah.
And cool stuff. All right, as we move into upcoming exhibits, we're going to talk about some new assets that are starting to make their appearances on the internet through various official announcements from Mattel and fan engage. No. I'm kidding. These are all from leaks, right? Is that my understanding? They're leaks?
Pretty much, yeah. Or, no, some of them came from Mattel's website that were just unceremoniously posted up, like this battle damage T-Rex we'll get to. It kind of just popped up there, but yeah, no, for the most part, these all came from various retailers, blah, blah, blah. No grand toy fair this year in 2021. So, we're all left to just find what we can for
we're
toys.
scavenging.
But we already spent... Yeah, exactly. We already spent a lot of time talking about, toys that were sort of that you could order or hunt, but this is all stuff that's down the pipe, and there's still so much of it. It's so exciting. The first thing I want to talk about is a couple new T-Rexes I don't think we've talked about on the show yet. Stomp and Attack T-Rex is the first one. Victoria, I feel like we've made a career out of talking about Mattel T-Rexes. What do you think of this latest version?
Yeah, Stomp and Attack T-Rex. Okay, Tim, so every time that they release a new T-Rex, I get excited. I love Jurassic T-Rexes, and that goes all the way back to that classic Red Rex that I woke up to on Christmas morning. So I just have an innate love for the Jurassic T-Rex. So every time there's a new one, I think about how's it going to stack up compared to the other ones that I already have? What newness is it going to have to offer? Because, there's quite a few Mattel T-Rexes already.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So, but looking at this one, it looks like this is going to be a pretty good one.
It does. And I feel like every time they release a new T-Rex, it's like, okay, I'll buy another giant T-Rex. The Bite and Fight was the first one after the movie. We had all those T-Rexes come out, but then Bite and Fight came out and it was like, oh yeah, I need that. And then I think it was Epic Roaring, and then it was like, oh yeah, I need that. So it just kind of keeps happening, and this Stomp and Attack, I love the colorway on it. I mean, it looks it's the best one yet, at least in these photos. I mean, I love Bite and Fight. I'll always stand Bite and Fight, but this looks awesome. Something about the way the yellow eyes pop out of the head too just looks so good.
Yeah. Thanks to how dark it is, this is definitely this looks to be the darkest one that we've gotten. Looking over at my Bite and Fight, and it's pretty close, I guess, but this one looks more movie accurate just overall, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like it too. The epic roaring T-Rex we got last year, everyone went bananas over it. It looks awesome. It has tons of detail, but it's just tweaked ever so slightly to look sort of cartoonish. Obviously, it was a Camp Cretaceous figure. It's very slight, but when you look at it next to this T-Rex, you're like, oh yeah, that has some exaggerated, proportions. But this kind of looks like we're returning to those movie accurate proportions, but still bringing that detail over, that sculpt detail, because it's here.
Yeah, that epic roaring is my favorite T-Rex. I know you're not the biggest fan of it, and you're right, it looks like a Camp Cretaceous Rexy, but I just love it.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm not telling like I hate it. It's definitely, for all my T-Rexes I love, Bite and Fight is number 1, and that's number 2. So it's definitely like my number 2. I just feel like this one is kind of the next step. But what's interesting about this figure, if you're looking at the photos, is again, we haven't had any like official reveal of this, so we don't know exactly how it works. But it looks like it's got some sort of stomping action, like each foot stomps. There's some sort of like hinge in its hip, if you look. Not really sure what that's about. And obviously that mouth opens and closes.
Yeah, so I see that, and then the knees are like on a double joint too of some sort.
Yeah.
So, but then it also has an interesting cut, like very similar to the thrash and throw, like in the middle of the torso. So I wonder if it's stomp and attack. So yeah, it seems like maybe it's like a little bit of possibly a throwback to the Red Rex, because you had that stomping sound effect. So maybe it does something like that. I don't know if it has sounds, and then it's got to have some sort of biting action or something.
Yeah. Gotta appreciate the neutral closed mouth. I know the Epic Roaring Rex had that too, but you don't always get that. Sometimes you get the mouth open and you press a button to close it, but I always like when the mouth starts closed.
Me too. It's that's always the best. And yeah, this looks great. I mean, it really does. Like, the sculpt is nice. The head looks a little bit big, and I kind of feel like that was one of my issues with the thrash and throw, was that the head was kind of a little bit big. So I feel like in a lot of ways this looks a lot like the thrash and throw. Like, it almost feels like it's just like a retool of that, honestly. Like, the legs look to be different, but the rest of it looks pretty similar to me.
It could be. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. But either way, I'm excited for it. It's new. It's got some...
And the capture gear. You can't forget about that.
Exactly, the capture gear. So it looks great. It's got capture gear. It's something collectors, longtime collectors have been asking for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's nice that it's got all that.
Yeah, totally. No human figures to put on the capture gear, but here it is. And of course, we're getting our first look, and some of these photos you can look at on Collect Jurassic Instagram, of the Dino Escape kind of branding in the box. That also looks very cool.
It does.
We got Darius and Toro on there, of course, because Camp Cretaceous is in, while Dominion is sitting the year out. But overall, I mean, I really like the packaging. I like the black.
I do too. And the background there, the sunset with the pteranodons flying out into the horizon, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So that's one new Rex, but it looks like we're possibly getting 2 new Rexes in the near future. The other one is Extreme Damage T-Rex. I think you called it Apple Pie T-Rex, which I think is hilarious. I'd never heard that before. This is a strange one, but again, I'm excited. I mean, I think I'm excited for every new Mattel toy, so I should quit saying that. But it's cool. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. I don't know if this is Extreme Damage is replacing Battle Damage, or I don't know what the situation is on these yet. But yeah, I know that I pre-ordered it from Amazon Japan.
Same.
Yeah, and I was talking to Greg about it recently, and he suggested, and I could see what he means. It looks like it's kind of like the Extreme Chompin' T-Rex, just like retooled or something.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple people say that in the comments. this part of it looks like the extreme chomping. So the neck joint for sure does. And honestly, the price point, I think what this is listed at was $19.99. So that would make sense from a price point.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this one is the apple pie feature. is the battle damage or whatever, extreme damage. I didn't notice this when I first saw the photos, but basically there's like there's slash marks on the side of it, but there's like a button you press that spins the insides, so you have either flesh colored of like the T-Rex's flesh or red, signifying gore, signifying whatever wounds. That's really cool. I mean, it's not just like exposed like wounds. It always looks sort of exposed, but the fact that it switches is just, those kind of fun gimmicks are the kind of stuff that we love to talk about when we do our Dino Clash. That's just kind of a little fun feature.
Yeah. I mean, for an item like this, $20, it's fine. I don't really care. If it's meant to be fun, and I think a little interesting clue here that it's not exactly the extreme chomping T-Rex is, if you look at the face, it's got the scars from Jurassic World. So
oh yeah, interesting. And I wonder too, just because in the photo his jaw is posed all over the place, I wonder if the jaw is just posable, like it's not tied to any action feature. If we can close it all the way or open it all the way, that'd be kind of nice.
That would be really nice.
That'd be a first, right?
It would be a first
for T-Rex.
Yeah, not counting the super colossal, but yeah,
not counting super colossal.
Because even the Destructosaurus
you can hear us
one,
you can hear us both looking over at our collections as we make that claim. Yeah. But that would be a first for the mainline figures, I guess.
Yeah, I'd love that. I wish they were all like that, honestly. But
me too.
But this is cool, and the colors are similar to the original Mattel Jurassic T-Rexes, but they seem a little more like strong. Like the colors are a little more, the browners are browner, the tan's a little more tan, and I like how they did give it some like dark color on the eyes, which is classic.
Yeah, it's different.
Jurassic T-Rex, so that's cool to see. Yeah,
for sure. You just tweaking that colorway a little bit different makes this like, oh yeah, I'll definitely pick this up. I would have got it either way, but if it had been just like the 2018 T-Rexes, it would have been less exciting.
Yeah.
But I think what's funny is like, if this was the only T-Rex we got, the new T-Rex we got, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But because we're getting this Stomp and Attack T-Rex, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, bring on the weird apple pie T-Rex. That's fine. Kind of makes it okay.
I like it.
Yeah, so a couple new T-Rexes. I'm sure, they'll start hitting, at least Stomp and Attack is going to be hitting here around June when we see that summer toy kind of refresh happen over the summer. But another awesome new figure coming out, probably the biggest new one coming out in the foreseeable future is Super Colossal Carnotaurus Toro. Did not see this one coming in the Super Colossal line, but here it is, and it looks cool.
Yeah, Super Colossal Toro. Really exciting. I know that we talk about these from time to time, and we're like, they're cool, but they're so big. Where are we going to put them? And, I go through that every time I buy one of these. But, it just 5 years ago, we would never even have imagined we'd be getting one, let alone like four, unique species in Super Colossal form. So,
right. And Super Colossal figures are so good that it's like, even though they're big, they're so cool that it's just like, I have to get it anyway.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's huge, but it's so good. And, like you were saying, the detail on this one is just so crisp. It looks so... It looks amazing. Like it looks so like it's like the Super Colossal. Like you're the one that told me like how awesome it looked, and I saw it in person. I'm like, oh my god, it is incredible.
Oh yeah, you mean the Indominus?
Or sorry, yeah, the Indominus.
Yeah, right. It's like a maquette. It's perfect, and this one looks like it's the same kind of thing. Like no weird proportions. It's like just straight up like a beautifully detailed large figure.
Yeah. It looks great. I'm no question. this is a need. And everything's a need, but this is like really a need.
I know. And it's like, I just redid my collection room, as you know, and in my shelves, I'm like, okay, I can expand in here a little bit. If 2 more years of toys. I did not think 2 more years of Super Colossal. I did not put that through. And it's like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to get a Toro up there, but but she's going up there. It looks awesome. I actually wish that we could get a Mattel Carno that looked a mainline Carno that looked more like this. I feel like all the Carnotauruses we have, something about them just isn't quite right. Whether it's a weird hinge because of an action feature or just sort of a cartoony look, but I would love this figure in 3.75 inch scale.
Yeah, the first one the action attack didn't look very much like, it wasn't very film accurate. I mean, it looked like a Carnotaurus, but not like a Jurassic Carnotaurus.
Right.
And then the Camp Cretaceous one, or I guess before that it would have been like Primal Attack or...
Yeah, right.
That one did look a little more cartoony. This one like takes the cake, like for sure. This one's awesome. I'm just
awesome.
Looking at the picture here. I'm like, damn, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and I'm sure it has that hollow belly. Maybe, I don't know. Hard to tell, but yeah. I mean, this one's hopefully headed here again over the summer, as we usually see that stuff hit, Well, I'll have to just find room for it. Yeah,
we'll have to make room. I mean, if the husband has to be kicked outside, then so be it.
Right. I'm looking at my Star Wars collection that I have set up, being like, that's a good place to put Toro. But no, I'll leave that there. I'm proud to be able to finally make room for that. We have a lot of, I feel like you were probably skipping over some, just so many toy reveals, but we definitely want to hit on all the big key ones. And I think I'm going to let you pronounce this because I'll murder it, but we did get a surprise figure reveal with more of that capture gear.
You know what, Tim? I want to hear you say it.
Okay, I'll give it my best. I'm going to say it how I was saying it before we were talked about it before the show, and I call this one the I call this one the Carcharodontosaurus. The Carcharodontosaurus. I used to play a game called Jurassic Park Warpath, and it's like a fighting game, and I loved playing as the Carcharodontosaurus.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
So, the Carcharodontosaurus.
There it is.
Comes with capture gear, so that is freaking cool. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that in just a sec, but this is a new species. This is a new dinosaur, and it doesn't look overly cartoony to me. Like, it actually looks like... I guess it takes inspiration from Evolution, doesn't it, from the game?
Right, yeah, that's what everyone's saying. I don't think I ever bred a lot when I played that game of this species, so I don't even know what it's supposed to look like. But yeah, the colorway, I guess, is in the design is sort of a dead ringer for the Jurassic World Evolution.
Yeah, it's cool. Wasn't that species also in Operation Genesis?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I'm trying to remember what the name of this assortment is this year, because it's not Massive Biters. It has a different name. Yeah,
it's
Mega Destroyers. I want to
something
say.
like, yeah, I think that's what it. Oh my god,
Mega Destroyers.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Man, they're going to run out of names someday, and they're going to be in trouble. So yeah, there's a Mega Destroyers Stegosaurus, which is cool. We won't go too far into that. I mean, it does have a cool new action, but this Carcharodontosaurus.
There you go.
Carcharodontosaurus. I mean, it's going to be a kind of a medium-sized carnivore, which is cool to kind of join Tarbosaurus and some of those other bigger carnivores we got.
Cyats, Mikurum.
Yeah, exactly, like Cyats. Now, I'm going to say that I know people are like going crazy over this figure. I don't know, something about the head and the eye. It's a little weird to me. I'm not as excited about this one as I am some other figures. Also, just in these photos, again, photos are, subject to change, but like the unpainted fingernails and toenails, I don't know. It just looks a little cheap to me. But I'll definitely have to wait to see more photos.
Yeah, that's always annoying. I kind of feel like to an extent the fingernails I can kind of look past, but the toenails kind of for me need to be painted.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Yeah, so that's definitely there. That's obvious, but the paint does look really neat. I like how it has like multiple layers of like tan and orange and that dark brown like striping, and it's new. It's like I said, it's fresh. It's something that we haven't seen before, and just to get a new species, and like you mentioned, it's a bigger dinosaur toy too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Right. I always like that because it's not just going to blend in with the
attack
all the
packs.
attack packs and Savage Strikes, which sort of, when you're setting them up on your collection shelf, they sort of proliferate more than some of the bigger carnivores. So it's nice to get another one.
Yeah, for sure. And that's Stegosaurus. I know we didn't touch on it too much, but I do wish they would have sculpted it like a completely brand new one to look more like the Lost World.
Yes.
But at least it's doing something new, right? I mean, it's got new kind of action, it looks like, and
yeah, it swoops its whole body, not unlike the Stegosaurus in Lost World, the movie. It like literally swoops its whole body when you do the mechanism versus just the tail kind of wiggling back there. But yeah, the Lost World Stegosaurus, one of the best Jurassic dinosaur designs, hands down.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful.
I love it.
It's real looking. It's like a real animal.
It is. I just got recently the Nanmu. Nanmu that we've talked about before. They make unlicensed Jurassic Park dinosaurs essentially. And I recently got their Stegosaurus, and it's just fantastic. It looks just like the Lost World. It's gorgeous. So I'd love to see that, but I mean, this, at least it's different. At least the colors are different. It does look a little bit like bones on the side of it, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's definitely got some real contrast with that lighter color on the side. But it's different enough. I also heard a couple people say that the head sculpt is new, but I can't really tell that.
It's hard to say. I mean, it looks like it could be new, but maybe the mouth kind of looks like it's open.
Yeah, that's the main part. But it's not like it's like a whole new look for the Stegosaurus. It looks
it looks pretty similar.
That's cool. Again, that Carcharodontosaurus. Today I learned Carcharodontosaurus is definitely the star of these two mega destroyers. Cool. And then moving on to Amber Collection. I know we talked about the Tiger Raptor and Pteranodon in our asset tracking segment, but upcoming exhibits, we have a couple new human figures, new in air quotations, because we have Ray Arnold, which is very exciting, and we'll get to talking about that figure. We also have Ian Malcolm version 2, which I think when we were teasing those leaks, we all were thinking, oh, Ian Malcolm version 2, we must be getting a Lost World Ian Malcolm or a fully shirtless with a leg splint Ian Malcolm, something like that.
Yep.
But we ended up getting a basically the same Ian Malcolm we already have with a couple very small differences.
This is really annoying to me, honestly. This isn't a 2.0 Ian Malcolm. It's the same figure, a little bit of chest hair painted, which doesn't even look good in the picture.
It doesn't.
And he's got the glasses. At the bare minimum, Tim, what they could have done is a new head sculpt without the glasses.
Yeah,
at the bare minimum. And he does have a walkie-talkie this time, I might add. He's still got the flare. But this was insanely frustrating to me to see this because, they could have gone with the complete jacketed look from earlier in the film.
That would have been great.
That would have been awesome.
They could have kept the head sculpt the same if they'd just done the jacketed look.
I would have been more lenient had they done that. But, this just, I don't like saying that, companies are lazy. I prefer to say that they're being cheap. But this to me feels like a little bit lazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cash grab. And there's a couple different factors we could attribute to why they're doing this. One thing you didn't mention was that there's new elbow articulation, which isn't the most hot selling point for a figure, but when you kind of have all the human figures adopting some sort of articulation with a consistent articulation, maybe they thought they needed to revisit Malcolm. Something we didn't touch on when we were talking about Tiger Raptor and Pteranodon, which I think might have something to do with this strange kind of re-release of Ian, is the display stands that were previously amber colored, that were, endlessly ridiculed for looking like the dinosaurs were peeing. They've all been changed to clear, and they actually look really nice. So the new releases are coming with clear stands versus amber-colored stands. So it makes me wonder if, and also, the Amber Collection just hit Target in a big way in the past few months. It makes me wonder if they're kind of going back and giving these figures sort of another shot with, you know, the clear stands and that wider availability at Target. I'm totally spitballing. I don't know anything for a fact, but that maybe that explains why we're getting this very small update to Ian Malcolm, sort of passed off as a new figure.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just been a while since the first one was out, but it you could still get it pretty cheaply on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, like $8.
Yeah, like yeah, it's got new elbow articulation, but I don't think it necessarily looks better than the original one. Like, you know, you have that double joint now, and it's very obvious. It also looks like his boots have Triceratops poop on them.
Yeah, and that could just be the photo, but it does look like he's got dirty boots. I don't know. I'm anxious to see more photos of this. You know, it could have been a really early photo. It could have been test shot. Like, what if what if the final one doesn't have glasses or does have a more open chest or whatever? You know, that would be fine then. But as it stands, the look we have of this figure right now, holding the walkie-talkie, looking pretty official. Yeah, it's not that exciting.
It's not. It's a huge letdown, actually.
Yeah.
But...
And Ray Arnold over here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I first saw this, I was really excited, and then kind of the more I looked at it, the more I was like, "Ooh, this is kind of weird looking." But let's start off with the positives. You know, he comes with a computer terminal with that kind of iconic user interface of the park with the fences. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like the accessories we get sometimes are a little random. You know, we got a cup of water with Malcolm. Owen came with nothing,
right?
Which was bizarre. Yeah, I mean, Nedry came with the crowd can, which was just right. So I feel like for Arnold, you know, coming with this computer terminal is unique and also just totally appropriate.
Yeah, it's a perfect accessory for him. He doesn't have a cigarette, but that's not unexpected at this point.
Right. No.
Yeah, no, the accessory looks good. The accessory is probably more detailed than the figure, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and the figure itself, kind of getting onto that, I've heard, you know, I'm not going to weigh on it, but I've heard that, like, his outfit doesn't match the movie at all. Like, different colored pants, different colored tie, like, it's totally different. So that's interesting. But at least he's got his headset. But his glasses, that's what bothers me. They're just so big.
Yeah, so I'm just pulling up image right here so I can see what he was wearing in the film. So it looks pretty similar to me. I think the coat is so he's wearing a striped shirt, but his coat just looks like it's solid white, like a lab coat. Yeah. And the figure, they gave him a striped coat.
Well, I think the striping is like because of the monitor, the photo that this is not like a straight up.
Okay.
It's like a photo of a photo if you think about it.
You know what? You're right, because looking at the computer accessory, it has the stripes on it.
Yeah.
You're right. The tie looks pretty close to me. Not 100%, but it looks pretty close.
What's kind of cool, if you look at the way his tie works, it looks like he's got that mid-chest articulation, but the tie is not like cut in half like I've seen in some toys. The tie is part of the top part of his chest, so it can move independently while you kind of do that articulation in the chest, which is kind of cool. I'm trying to think of what toy I saw that cut a bow, like a tie like that, in half. It wasn't Ninja Turtles, but it was like... It was Spider-Man or something.
Yeah, there's quite a few figures that have that sort of joint.
But I'm saying, would that have a necktie that they just cut in half right there? And it kind of looks ridiculous. I liked it that they made it one solid piece.
Yeah. I don't know. It still looks off, though. Like, why are his pants so high up?
Yeah, he kind of looks like a dork. More of a dork than Samuel L. Jackson.
Are you sure this isn't a Steve Urkel figure?
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. But, I mean, these are early looks. We can talk all day about official looks. But, what we're seeing right now, I think we're both hoping looks better in the final product.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm sure you've seen the Black Series Mace Windu, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this looks awful compared to that. Like, honestly, like to me, it just doesn't look anything like Sam Jackson. It looks like they tried like to get there. They got 50% of the way there, and they're like, okay, good enough. Like, I just don't see him.
It almost looks like an early photo, like a test shot or something.
It looks like a prototype of a prototype.
We'll be sad if this is what we actually get. So we'll see. We'll see what the final figure looks like. But in any case, nice to see Amber exploring some of the obscure characters from Jurassic Park. Yes. But I'm not pandering here. Victoria, my female co-host, it's ridiculous that there's no female figure released at this point. When we have Claire and we have Ellie Sattler, I almost think it's more ridiculous they haven't done Claire yet before they're hitting Ian Malcolm version 2. I mean, that's almost a slap in the face that we can't get an Ellie or a Claire figure.
Yeah, I mean, or even Nedry or Ray Arnold here. It's like those are great characters. I love them both, but I mean, they're not main characters, not like Ellie or Claire. So, it's perplexing to me. I just don't get it. And I know that some wisecrack is going to say something like, oh, well, the dinosaurs are female. It's like, shut up. Like, they tell me that all the time. I'm like, come on, you can't compare a fictional like animal to like a human like being. It's like there's no comparison. So yeah, that is that's really unfortunate. Honestly, I don't know what they're waiting for.
Ellie's definitely coming. I mean, I know that, but I don't think a Claire is coming soon, which is bizarre.
So when the line started, I had it on really good authority that they had a prototype of Claire. I don't know what outfit it was or what version of her. I was kind of led to believe it was the Fallen Kingdom one, but I'm not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know if they also had prototypes for these at the same time. They decided to release them first. But it's I don't know what they're waiting for.
Right. I mean, I feel like this for the 3.75 inch line too, that Claire in her white Jurassic World outfit, I mean, that's iconic for Jurassic World. Right up there with Owen. And again, I'm not just saying that. I really think that when you think about Jurassic World, you think about the poster with the Indominus Rex and Claire kind of facing off in her outfit. I feel like that would be just a great way to inject some energy into Amber Collection. So getting version 2 Malcolm and a wonky Sam Jackson, it's kind of like, okay, all right. But we'll see. Plans change.
Well, here's the thing: if they're going to improve these figures and make them like a true like collector-oriented product, and they're going to do that with Claire or Ellie, then fine, I'll wait. But if it's going to be the same kind of thing that we're looking at here,
let them work out all the kinks on the men, right? And then once they get it perfect, I mean, I feel like that low key with Alan Grant, because I want that figure more than any other Amber Collection figure, more than any dinosaur. I want Alan Grant. So it's like, figure out your weird elbow articulation and distribution and this and that. Figure all that out, I guess. But please get it figured out by the time Alan Grant comes out.
Yes. And please, I'm just looking at Ray Arnold's hand there. Look how smooth his hands are.
Yeah, he looks kind of like a Barbie doll. It's weird. So we'll see. They're definitely up and coming. And we can talk a little bit more and Around the Jurassic World about Amber Collection reveals going forward. But we still have more toys to talk about. So we'll go ahead and move on. We'll make this one maybe short unless we get excited and talk about it for a while. There's a new wave, or at least a few new waves of Mattel's Dino Minifigures. I think these have been renamed to Dino-mites.
Oh my goodness.
I saw that on the Target shelf tag when I was looking at them the other day. But finally, new sculpts. We've been having the same sculpts since 2018 with not a lot of new additions to this miniature line. These are the blind bags for everyone who's uninitiated. The little blind bags you see. But yeah, there's some cool new species in this. And some kind of returns of species we've had with new paint. I'm kind of excited about this new Brachiosaurus, but the new species look great too.
Yeah, these are fun. I know I've said it before. I'm not hardcore into the minis. I do have a few. I have like the Legacy ones, and I have the Camp Cretaceous set. I guess it was from.
I love that set.
From last year. Yeah, and I only bought it for that clear Parasaurolophus.
And here it is.
and here it is. It looks a little different. It looks a little more like teal or something.
I'm sure it's different. Even like figures that look like they're the same as another set are always a little different.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is about clear plastic or glow in the dark, but I love all that stuff, so I'm gonna have to get that at least. But yeah, you're right. There's some new species in here. Some new stuff that hasn't been done as minis before, and that's cool to see because, like you were saying, there haven't been really any new sculpts in years.
Yeah.
So,
right,
fresh dinos.
Yeah, Irritator, Cyats, Tarbosaurus. Those are the three ones we can see in this photo that are all new. But again, I love that Brachiosaurus colorway. It looks like we have an adult Bumpy, which is technically a spoiler, but if you're listening to this, you've probably seen Camp Cretaceous Season 2, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. An adult Bumpy is definitely a highlight. These photos are always kind of subject to change too, so I wouldn't be surprised if Toro comes out looking with a different paint application than what we're seeing in these photos, but at least we know that we're getting some new species finally, and they look really cool. They look almost like perfectly shrunken down versions of the bigger figures.
Yeah, they do. It definitely looks like they're utilizing the same like digital assets or whatever they use. Because even things like the Cyats has like the same ginormous head that the mainline one has. So
yeah. It's kind of funny too. These minis they're never updating the sculpts with the toys that are coming out. So it's like in a couple of years, there's going to be like an Albertosaurus and like, a Monologusaurus. And it's like they kind of take their time adding new sculpts to this. So could be a while before we get to, 2020's mainline figures being shrunk down to this mini line. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think we're on wave 12 right now, and these next waves would be wave 13, 14. So they've really got their use out of these figures.
Yeah, no, that's so use a little bit of that money and tool up some new dinos, and it looks like that's what they're doing. So
awesome.
So I got a question for you. Is the Brachiosaurus in this set the same as the Legacy one they did before?
No, the Legacy one has come out in it came out in blind bag form because I have it and I don't have the Legacy sets, and it's much lighter than this.
Okay.
This one definitely has a lot more color, so I hope it looks like this. This kind of looks like a Camp Cretaceous Brachiosaurus kind of.
Yeah, kind of
sky tinged a little bit.
Okay, but it is a different sculpt.
Oh, a different sculpt? Oh, I thought you meant like a colorway. No, it's the same sculpt, I think.
Okay.
Just new colors.
New colors. Well, we'll take it. I love Brachiosaurus. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited about it. These minis, I'm like you. I don't collect. I definitely don't have all of them. I have probably like outside the Camp Cretaceous pack, I probably have like 10 other loose ones. And there's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens if you collect them all. But I always get like the cool new color repaint, the new colorways. So I'll definitely get Brachio when this comes out.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, and couple more things here to kind of close out our upcoming exhibits. Both pretty interesting, pretty exciting. Well, one of them is very exciting. But budget line figures. I know we talked about 12-inch and 6-inch, but there's some new figures that are coming out, sort of a new budget assortment with some electronic action in them.
Yeah.
I don't know what their official name is, but they kind of freaked everyone out a few days ago when we posted about them because... they're not bad, but they're not good either. And I think people, including myself, thought, "Oh my gosh, are they like? Is Mattel just like throwing it all to the wind and just like, coming out with cheaper toys in 2021 for Soundstrike or Roarivores or whatever you want to call them?" But that's not the case.
Yeah, that's not the case. These are. I really want to get the full story on how these are going to work, where they're going to be sold, like, will they be in the U.S.? Are they, I don't know. I just, we don't have any info. And, Yeah, I mean, they're a curiosity because there's already in existence some budget dinosaurs that we talked about them earlier, right? The 6-inch, the 12-inch.
The 12-inch, yeah.
So, I mean, this seems like it's supposed to be that, but now they have electronics, so they're clearly a step
more
up.
Detailed, too.
Yeah, exactly. So there's clearly a step up from those other basic dinosaurs. So,
and they're $14.99 too, which puts them like right up with kind of roarivores or Soundstrike or whatever too. So
yeah.
Interesting. And so there's 3 species, Baryonyx, Carnotaurus, and T-Rex. They are all the same size. Like it's not like the T-Rex is bigger than the Baryonyx. So I think that was the first thing that freaked people out, at least for me. It was like, wow, we're breaking scale now. There's a T-Rex that's the size of a Soundstrike. Like that makes no sense. Because the Baryonyx looks exactly like a roarivore Baryonyx, but it just has like a little bit simpler paint and this big ugly sound door with a screw hole on the side of it, which was another cause for concern.
It's weird. The Carnotaurus also has like short fat legs. It's kind of weird, but
yeah, no, right. But hey, it is more like the super colossal Carno than any of the other ones if you think about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a weirdo, but I like the idea of like a smaller T-Rex that has like electronics like this. Like,
oh yeah, I would buy if I get the chance. I'll definitely grab this T-Rex. And it looks like that. What is it called? Stomp and Attack T-Rex we talked about earlier, colorway wise.
The pie crust.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. And I think what you got to like the kind of the meat of why they're doing these is because, let's just say certain markets only have so much room for, they have a room for one Jurassic World toy on the shelf, right? And they want something that isn't 6-inch cheap $5 toy. They have these $15 toys and they can get T-Rex on there and they can get, the Baryonyx and they can get Toro from the show the kids are watching. They can get all the popular species without having to worry about some big giant $40 shelf space T-Rex. They can get all this popular species in one assortment basically.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I mean, I'll be honest, I would buy them all 3 just because they're a curiosity. Like I know generally we collect most of the stuff anyway, but to me, like when something is just weird or off the wall or it's intriguing, it's interesting to me, and I'm more apt to picking it up. I'm more likely to pick it up and just check it out for my own like nerd purposes or whatever. But
right,
yeah,
I definitely want the T-Rex. I think we could take some cool photos with that because you can kind of play with some of your vehicles. You can play with scale a little bit with it. So that's what's exciting to me about that one. I don't know what I'll do with the Baryonyx. It's just an inferior version of a roarivore or Soundstrike we already have. But
we have so many.
Definitely curiosities.
We have so many Baryonyxes.
That's true too. We have a lot. But rest assured, listeners, Mattel isn't going to start putting screw holes and sound doors on every toy. These are purely a budget assortment. We don't know where they're headed, but I would imagine not your local Target and Walmart. I think these will be probably for specific markets. We might not even ever see them here in the U.S. We'll just have to see.
Good.
Now let's get to the main event and upcoming exhibits. Why we came all the way out here to Gyrosaur Valley. A toy that's been whispered about for probably a year at this point. But we finally know that it's coming. Yeah.
This, I think we were kind of cued into this, Tim, when you got that early Brachiosaurus from Mattel.
Yeah.
And the silhouette on the box was incorrect.
Right.
So that was our first inkling that, that something might have been in the pipeline. Right. So now, courtesy of what website, Tim?
Okay. It's my big moment to pronounce something else wrong or right. Courtesy of, I'm going to say it right just because I feel agreeable. Courtesy of Smith's Toys, which is a UK toy website, sort of like the Toys R Us for the UK. We don't have Toys R Us here, but they have Smith's Toys, all legit. And and they got the Legacy Collection Apatosaurus on their website. And we know, before we get too deep into this, don't worry, it's coming to Targets. I think we already knew that it was coming to Target before this announcement, just due to some leaks, but nothing was official. Nothing was really being shared around on the news websites, but with it hitting Smith's Toys with photos, people are really talking about this figure now.
Yeah, it's definitely been the belle of the ball over these past couple of days with all those photos that have been popping up. And everybody's excited. I mean, I have a lot of issues with it, but I'm also very excited for it. I'm also, appreciating the fact that it's even happening, because it truly is kind of a miracle that they're doing another sauropod like this.
That's where I'm at. The fact that it exists is like, whoa, wow, incredible. Brachiosaurus was its own miracle, so to kind of get a follow-up to that is amazing. I like just getting another big, giant toy that's in scale, 7.5 inch. Not going to try to figure out where it's going to go. I know I was already complaining about how much room a new Super Colossal is going to take. But, I mean, just getting these giant toys to put next to our little 3.75 inch humans is super cool.
Yeah.
That being said, when I first saw the Brachiosaurus, I was like, I am in love with this thing. And when I first saw this, I was like, that's interesting. It's got some strange proportions on it, right?
That's where I'm at with it. I'm having a really hard time getting past its proportions and its silhouette.
Would you agree from certain angles it looks better than others?
I would say that if you look at it from the front, it looks pretty good.
Right.
I would say that if you look at it from the back, it looks pretty good. But then if you look at it from like the side, it looks pretty bad.
Right. The straight up side silhouette that they have a couple different places, especially on the box itself, it looks really weird. It looks like the neck is twice as small as it should be. The back legs look massive compared to the front legs. Almost looks like that Zunicerotops we talked about earlier in the show. It's got some really, really muscular, sort of almost bipedal back legs.
Yeah.
But proportions aside, I mean, the detail on this thing, the wrinkles around its knees, that stuff is top notch.
Yeah, the actual texturing on it looks good. The actual sculpt detail on it looks nice. The toes look really detailed, like the nails. Yeah, you're right. The neck, lots of folding, lots of like striations and stuff. That all looks really good. But I don't know, Tim. Like I just can't get past the proportions. Like the neck is so short and stubby, and the tail isn't in proportion with the neck, which, I know it's not 100% supposed to be, but it, man.
Well, when you have a toy like this that is being broken down into a big cardboard box, it's like you don't have to play by, some of the other figures. It's like, well, the tail is short so it can fit in the box because the box has to sit on the shelf like this with these other toys. No, the Brachiosaurus box is just a giant box. And
right.
So will the Apatosaurus box will be. So it's like they could have made the tail and the neck, as long as the box.
They could have done 2-piece tails or 2-piece necks to, you just connect it all together and then you got more articulation.
Which kind of brings me back to the tail itself. Does it look to you like it's like bendable, like Amber Collection a little bit, or do you think it's sculpted like that?
You know what? I hadn't even thought about that, but looking at it again,
It would be sort of strange if they did that, but I can't help but think when I look at these photos that the tail almost looks like it's sort of that bendy rubber.
It could very well be. It's hard for me to say. Like I think like the front end of the tail, the thicker part looks plastic, but then when you get to like maybe a third of the way down, 2/3 of the way down, or like halfway down the tail, it looks like it changes a little bit. So possibly.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to see, when this thing is either in someone's hands or covered, some other way. One thing I think that's cool to point out on this figure, on the head, it looks like they're doing some sort of dry brushing technique for some of the paint, which we don't which we see in Amber Collection, but we haven't really seen in 3.75 inch scale. That's nice.
Yeah, that's different. It is nice because it when you're kind of just glossing over with when you dry brush something, you're not like smattering the paint all over it's whatever you're painting, you're just kind of highlighting it, right? So like
right.
you bring out some of that sculpt a little bit more. And it definitely looks like that's what they did here. And that looks nice. I'm a little bit uncertain like with how the overall like paint looks compared to how they look in the movies, but
yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Like, is it more Jurassic World or more Fallen Kingdom?
I don't know. I just feel like the Apatosaurus in general is supposed to be a little more muted than this, and I can't help but think that maybe they kind of punched up the stripes just to make it a little more of a toy, which they didn't really do that with the Brachiosaurus. I mean, the Brachiosaurus is pretty, I won't say bland. It's just simple. Yeah. And it was fine. And I feel like maybe they could have done that with this figure. But if you look at the picture of the toy on the box, not the illustration, but the toy itself, it looks like it's a little more toned down, the stripes. So I'm hoping in the end that maybe it's a little more muted overall. But I think it's close enough. It's some sort of approximation of the Jurassic World Apatosaurus in both movies. So it's not a miss by any means.
It is a little bit of a blend, I guess, like because in Jurassic World they were more like gray, right? And then in Fallen Kingdom they were more green. I don't know why they changed them. I thought they would look fine in Jurassic World, but this kind of looks maybe like an amalgamation of the two colors, like sort of like, but it's still not like 100% either way, or even like the patterns on it aren't completely like it looks in the movies. So there's that, and I know a few people have complained too about the eye, like should have like a blue eye, and it doesn't. So.
It almost looks like it has zombie eyes.
It does. It looks a little weird from that angle from the front.
I'm hoping that, that's just you can't really, we're looking at the iris basically and not the whole eye in that picture, but it looks like the undead Apatosaurus. That's what it is. It came back to life.
It looks like it's going to vomit or something.
Yeah. But I mean, us getting, kind of critical aside, it's a miracle that this toy's coming. So, and it's gonna look great on your shelf. It's gonna be just this monstrosity next to the Brachiosaurus. It's exciting to kind of get another huge herbivore. I mean, we don't even get a lot of herbivores in general, so this will be cool. I'm only gonna get one this time though. How about you?
You're not gonna get a second to keep in the box?
I don't think so. I have enough Brachiosaur boxes in my closet. I have 3. So I got 3 Brachiosaurus too.
I think I would probably get an extra one just to have in the box, just because it is like a miracle. It is such a unique thing. But I'm not gonna buy like multiple to open up because I think one will be enough. And it's gonna be the whole thing of finding a place for it anyway. So that's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be hard to fit on the shelf, but it's got to do it. I got to do it. It's just so cool. So I'll definitely be making room.
Yep, so exciting news for sure. This is definitely the biggest Mattel Jurassic announcement so far this year, I would say. And
for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people are excited. And, I'm sure it's going to be, if it's anything like Brachiosaurus, that was a huge deal when it got released. I remember it was a huge thing online where people were going and getting them and pulling them from the back and then posting their pictures on Instagram. It was, there was so much like community, like unity, like in that moment. It was amazing. I want to see that happen again.
That was fun. I'd like to see that happen again. I don't think Apatosaurus is the one that's gonna do it. But,
I agree.
I think there'll be another legacy release later this year that's gonna be right on par with Brachiosaurus. But this is not the one. It's still exciting, but I hope that there's something even more exciting around the corner. So we'll just have to wait and see.
We'll see.
Well, that was a lot of new toys to cover, both kind of coming down the pipe and toys we can hunt right now. But let's go ahead and talk about our collections, our trophy room, kind of what we've amassed since we last had an episode here. And I think we've both, as usual, sort of been collecting the same stuff in terms of Jurassic.
Yeah, I think we've been getting the same things. It kind of seems like, there's been a lot of toys coming out in general. Tim, we can't just go straight into trophy room though without acknowledging those Predators and Aliens figures.
Oh yeah. You mean the lantern ones?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm down for a good deviation from Jurassic. That's one thing I like. It seems like at the beginning of every year, Lantern, which is sort of like I wouldn't say off-brand. They're just not a big toy company. They come out with like the coolest stuff here in the States at Walmart. Last year they come out with some, alien figures. I think the year before that they had like Jumanji. But this year they came out with these Aliens and Predator, I guess 7-inch figures.
Yeah.
Which I was super excited about. And then of course you found them, and you can agree they're awesome.
They are. Yeah, it's. I bought the 3 3/4 inch ones that they did last year for Alien, and so I have all those.
Yeah.
And then
Same.
and then these started coming out, and you started posting pictures, and I was like, I'm gonna check these out. So I went to Walmart one day, and they had a couple of the Predators, and I was like, well, you know what, these look pretty cool. And then I went and scanned it, and I was like, what, $10 for a 7-inch super articulated Predator that looks awesome? And I was like, no way I can pass this up. So I bought that one, and I just started buying all of them. So
that's what's funny about Lantern, is it's so cheap that it just completely erases like that barrier of impulse control. It's like, well, I mean, $10, whatever. And yeah, I'm like you. I had the Aliens from last year, and the Aliens from this year are just basically scaled up versions of those with a little bit more paint. They're okay. I mean, I bought them. They're cool, but the Predators are like on another level. They're for $10. I mean, you just can't get a cooler toy than this. And there's 3 different designs, and I can't even pick a favorite because they're so cool.
Yeah, I'm still missing one. I have the clear one. That was the first one that I opened up. And then I have the other one. I don't know if it's called like City Hunter or something.
Yeah. You're missing the one with like the jaw, basically, is what the one you're missing.
I believe so. Yeah, and I've been going to Walmart, and I haven't seen them anymore. Like they're cleaned out of those guys. They haven't restocked them. So
that's good in some way, but if it's like their other toy lines, they'll just stock it all year.
Oh yeah,
so,
for the whole year.
Yeah. It's not like Star Wars where you miss the vintage collection wave and then you never see it again.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
No, I love what they do, and it seems like they always build on what was successful the year before. So I'm sure we'll see more of this. It's just such a random sort of licensee sort of deal.
Yeah.
Because you got Neca making Alien and Predator on a whole other level, and these are not on that level, but they're not like a totally different kind of toy either. So I don't know how that licensing shakes out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm happy for it. $10 Predator figures.
Yeah, no, it's all cool stuff, and NECA's doing their own thing, and they're obviously more detailed and more expensive, but they're also not. There's a lot of problems with QC with NECA, so. I haven't had any problems with these guys, so.
Me either. I got a Neca Predator. They did like a throwback Kenner line. I was so excited about it. Not where they do like the super articulated figures that are based on Kenner. No, this was like a straight up Kenner figure they did. Got it out of the box, moved the arm, and it just broke off. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm done. But these Lantern figures are way more hardy. They're just solid, so that I can't see that happening.
Right. Yeah. So no, good stuff. If you want something a little different from Jurassic, you need a little diversion, or you can't find any new Jurassic toys, then these are definitely everybody I've talked to, Tim, that saw me like hyping them online, like they're like, I bought one and it was like the greatest thing ever. So you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong, exactly, for $10. But steering back to Jurassic, I think between the both of us, let's talk about attack packs, because I thought this latest attack pack wave that we both got had some awesome stuff in it. A couple cool figures. Yeah.
So these attack packs were something that we've been looking forward to. I know we talked about them several episodes ago.
Yeah.
It's made up of some pretty interesting stuff. We have the Gallimimus. Mm-hmm. This is the Kenner repaint version.
So cool. Yeah. Awesome.
So cool. Yeah. We have the Dimetrodon. We have the Dimorphodon. We were talking about earlier in the episode how Dimorphodons, there's so many. Here's another one. So there's not really a whole lot I can add about that. And then there's what I kind of feels like the star of the wave is the Troodon.
Yeah, the Troodon is definitely the star, and I was excited about it in photo form, and then when you get it in hand, it's like even cooler. It's a nice little like slender, sleek figure, but tons of detail in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's very crisp.
Crisp.
The sculpted detail on there is pretty sharp, and you know you just hold it in hand, and it's better than it is in the pictures. It's more, the colors are it's painted nicely.
Yeah,
and it's detailed. I really like it. I want to get some more of them.
Yeah, I have a few. It's my only pack figure I have where I have more than two. I have 3 of them, and what I like about it, when you look at that face, it looks reminiscent of a Jurassic Park Velociraptor.
Yes.
But like also not. But just I don't know. Sometimes you get these Mattel dinosaurs, and then they're kind of from a different world than the movies. You know what I mean? Sometimes they feel like they could be like on the movie, from the movie, based on the movie. But this Troodon, like if you told me it was based on like some Stan Winston thing, like I'd be like, okay, I buy it. Like it looks like it was kind of created at the same time as some of the other iconic Jurassic designs.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. It's new species, and it looks great. You know, I can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, and I think the pink tail, I like it. It's weird. It's like it's like a rat tail. I don't know. It's the right kind of weird for me. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's fun.
And the Gallimimus, just to kind of rewind back to that, I don't even think we need to talk about the Dimorphodon. It's got gold paint or something. Okay, whatever. They've hit every color under the rainbow, so now they're going to metallic paints, I guess. But the Gallimimus, you know, we've got a lot of like little tiny winks to Kenner, you know, throughout Mattel's time with the Jurassic license, but this is the most like straight up kind of nod. It's perfect. It's like almost a high def remaster of the Kenner Gallimimus. Like the colors are more intense, but they're the exact same. The pattern is kind of a little more like spelled out and not so subtle. I don't know. I just love this figure. I don't love the sculpt, but I love the paint job.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, we haven't seen the sculpt in a really long time. It's just like they went like a couple years without bringing it back, and they made quite a few of them early on, and now that we have it back, it's interesting to see it. But yeah, the Kenner inspiration there is you know, it's going to be the highlight, I think, for most people as collectors. But I don't know about yours, but Tim, are yours standing a little bit better than the previous Gallimimus?
Yeah. I definitely. I think those first ones we got in 2018 were all over the place, but no, I haven't had any issues with this newest wave.
Yeah, it's interesting. This, yeah, for me too. This Gallimimus has stayed up on the shelf, and I'm actually really surprised. I don't know what they did, but they must have changed the mixture in the plastic or something in order to get it to stand better. That's
interesting, because if we jump to sort of what we're going to talk about next, which is Savage Strikes, getting ahead of myself a little bit, there's a new Stygimoloch in this wave that you know, I collected, and I cannot get it to stand. Its feet are like totally screwed up, and all the other ones I have stand perfectly fine. So, you know, fix something in attack packs, and I guess break it in Savage Strikes.
Yeah, for sure.
So these new Savage Strikes, like I said, Stygimoloch is one of them. And we also have Monologusaurus. And we also have, again, we can always... It seems like with Mattel, there's always like one figure in the wave that everyone's like, oh, that's the one. That's the cool one. That's the best one. And then for Savage Strikes, I think this time around, everyone would agree it's Plesiosaurus. But all 3 of these are still, you know, pretty exciting because... again, I think we talked about it already. Like, this is the year where Stygimoloch kind of broke out of its shell and got repaints, and this latest Savage Strike figure, I mean, it's probably the biggest departure for the main line we've seen so far.
It is. I really like it. I think it's my favorite one, and I didn't really expect that to be the case, but after I got it in hand, and yeah, like you're saying, it's just a deviation from what we've normally seen with Stiggy. They've kind of always been more or less the same color. Even the previous Savage Strike one, it was kind of the same. It was darker, but it was kind of the same. And this is just completely different, and I really like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I still think that previous one is my favorite, but this is definitely my second favorite because it kind of reminds me of Jurassic World Evolution, and maybe I don't know. I'd have to go back and play. Maybe it's based off of like a pattern in the game, but it just feels very like an animal coloration, not something that someone just made to put in a movie to look cool. Like this feels very like bird-like or something.
I was just gonna say that bird-like. That's a good way to put it.
Right. And Monologusaurus, we haven't got a ton of that figure. I guess we've gotten 3 or 4, but I guess I'm always excited about it. I like this figure, and this paint application, is definitely different. I mean, it's got like this sort of like contrasting thing going where it's got this sort of darker yellow on its head that, again, sort of bird-like, like sort of like a rooster or something.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. It's like you said, we've had it a couple times before, but it hasn't been like saturated to the point of like a Dimorphodon or a Triceratops or something like that. So it works. It's not the most exciting release, but it works.
Yeah, I don't really love the Savage Strike version of the Monologusaurus. Like the jaw, that like the kind of jaw action is it's a little goofy. It's like on this big circle thing on its lower jaw, basically. Versus like the battle damage one where it looks a little more, I don't know. It's not broken, I guess, by the action feature.
Right. Yeah, I think that's still my favorite one too. Mm-hmm. Looks like a watermelon.
Yeah, I love that one. It's the battle damage one that came with the T-Rex, right? Yeah,
yep.
That one's great. I love the eye color on that one too. No, I think what would help the Savage Strike version is if it was by default it had its mouth closed, and you use the tail to open the mouth, but it's not like that. It's just in constantly screaming.
That would make sense.
And then we have Plesiosaurus. Yeah, right. The Plesiosaurus. I think you said you're still waiting for that one to get in the mail.
I'm still waiting. I've been, every time I get to, I found everything else from the newest attack packs we just discussed and the Savage Strikes, but I've seen these figures multiple times. I can never find that Savage Strike Plesiosaurus.
Yeah, it's not easy to find. It's not easy to grab online either. I mean, I feel like, we have our little toy chat and we're all kind of tracking the Target notifications, and it's like gone. And then I think it's popped up on Amazon a couple times and sort of flown under the radar for a few minutes. So it's hard to get. And I feel like that's partly because it's short packed, and partly because I think Plesiosaurus is always just going to be a popular Mattel figure. And I love this one. The minute we saw the photo of it, like way back when, it reminded me of like a orca or like a whale immediately, because it just has this nice solid blue tone. But when I got it in hand, what I really liked about it is it's almost the inverse of the battle damage Plesiosaurus, where it's like, that one's mostly white with like a little bit of a darker pattern on the upper side of it, and then this is the flip of that. It's all dark with like a little bit of white on the bottom. It's just a kind of a. I always talk about mating pairs, and my little headcanon for my toy display. They remind me of like a male and female that are paired underwater. It's cool. Yeah. It makes that other one sort of look like the dirty pond version of Plesiosaurus, but it's cool. Feels very, again, sort of like an aquatic creature, like very true to life coloring.
Yeah, Plesiosaurus always seems to be a popular release. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe because they're different and they're like water creatures, or just something about them. They always seem to do really well. And
right.
This is its third appearance, and it's no exception.
Still hot.
Yeah.
I loved Plesiosaurus as a kid. I thought it was just like a cool thing. I mean, so that doesn't surprise me. Maybe kids these days are still all over it, as well as us, obsessive adult collectors. So,
right, yeah.
I'm wondering, looking at this thing, I'm thinking that it looks like a whale. Do Plesiosaurs have blubber? I wonder. I mean, this one looks like it could have some blubber on it. I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question for the paleontologist who would never come on this show because I say Carnotaurus.
Yeah, what's the other one you say for Mamenchosaurus?
Mamenchosaurus? Yeah. See, I don't even... Well, how was that again? I don't even lock it in when you
It's a Mamenchosaurus, but I think you say Mamenchosaurus or
Mamenchosaurus, yeah. I don't even lock it in. I'm going to lock in Carcharodontosaurus.
There you go.
Yeah, see, I got that one now. Cool. As far as anything else, I mean, I feel like it hasn't been a super busy time for Jurassic toys. I feel like our last show we definitely stocked up. But I think as the year goes on, we're going to be adding a lot more to our trophy rooms.
Absolutely.
One special thing I needed to add, just because I spent money on it, so I feel like I have to promote it whenever I can. I grabbed one of these Franklin figures from Fallen Kingdom that showed up on eBay. I think a few more have showed up since I got one. Canceled Franklin figure. We'll all remember they announced a Franklin figure a couple of years ago, Mattel at some toy fair, or at least it was in that one of those big dioramas. Remember how they did that?
Yeah, that was really cool. Was it Toy Fair or was it Comic Con?
Comic Con. I think it was Comic Con. I think it was San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
But they announced this Franklin figure, and that was back when we didn't know any better, and we're like, oh, it'll be right around the corner, and now we know that plans change with Mattel. Toys don't come out. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough.
It definitely happens. I guess we come across this with any expansive toy line from time to time. There's always that one item or couple items that you can't really fathom why they would cancel it, but something came up behind the scenes and it happened, right? So
yeah, and I would speculate that this was right when humans kind of fell out of favor with Mattel and they started just leaning into dinosaurs. So
yeah, exactly.
Franklin got effectively canned, but it seems like he was in some sort of production process, because some samples of him and his Dino Rivals packaging showed up. I guess they're production samples before they actually run the production line. They run like thousands of these. Not even like, I thought it was like a few dozen. They run like thousands.
Oh, wow.
And kind of work out the kinks. I noticed on mine his neck paint is sort of like they didn't apply enough paint. It's not covering the plastic well. That could just be a one-off defect, but I also think maybe that's the kind of stuff they were working out. But I guess some survived. Did thousands of them survive? We'll see. So far, there's only been about 3 or 4 popping up on the internet here and there. But it's cool. It's Franklin. He comes with a little like tote bag. Comes with a little phone, and he comes with the Triceratops, which is a little different than how he was announced. I think he was coming with a Microceratops when they showed him off. Yeah,
that's right.
But it's a cool figure. I mean, it's like Claire and Zia, very crisp details. A reasonably decent likeness for this small scale. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm still hopeful that somehow, some way, eventually they'll be releasing him and other human figures at some point. Yeah, so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
I feel like we're like 10 for 10 on this show for telling people like, don't freak out, it'll come out. With Hammond and Nedry, and I can say the same with Franklin. Franklin will come out, not this version because Dino Rivals is obviously long gone. But Franklin in this figure will probably come out in some way, shape, or form. Maybe his pants will be different colored or something. But but it's a cool thing to have. I don't collect.
No, it is.
Prototypes or canceled figures, but I don't think I had a lot of other toy collecting going on, so I went a little crazy.
Yeah,
and got it on eBay. So
that's cool. I've told you this before, but pieces like this that are discontinued, rare, coveted by serious collectors who aren't afraid to throw money at them. Pieces like this are best served with somebody like you who can showcase it and show it to the world, because if it were to go into some private collection, to some basement, we'll never see it again. But at least, you having it, we get to at least appreciate it from afar. So thank you for taking one for the team, Tim.
Of course. And, the downside of me having it is I always want to open it, but everyone's like, don't do that. Don't open it.
No, don't open
but I'm like, oh man, he just wants to join his friends on the shelf since I open everything else. But
yeah, I know.
No, I'll keep it in the box. I'm trying to get like one of those little acrylic protector cases made for it, so hopefully I can get that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because right now it's not even on display. I'm like too nervous that it's gonna like fall off the shelf or something. But yeah, very kind of a cool little fun thing that I don't always add is just a, one of the mill canceled figures. So fun stuff.
Now see if you can get one of those Destructosaurus Dimetrodons.
Yes, or that Dr. Wu lab. Yeah, yeah. I don't think my pockets are deep enough for those, but Franklin I can manage.
All right, so as we get into our Around the Jurassic World segment, we're going to cover a few things that are going on in terms of Jurassic news. And the very first thing on our list, Tim, is the Jurassic Park, the Ultimate Visual Guide.
Yes, and you did read that correctly. It's Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World. The Ultimate Visual Guide. I think this was put up on Amazon, and everyone got real excited because we've been getting teased about a Jurassic art book for years, certainly since Jurassic World came out. Is there going to be a Jurassic World art book? And, we got a couple coy answers. It seems like every movie, every sci-fi movie, every big action movie that's sort of a phenomenon, they always get an art book. And Jurassic World never got one. And I would assume we're still getting one, but this Jurassic Park Ultimate Visual Guide sounds even better for me. I mean,
yeah,
because it's focused on Jurassic Park. In the listing it says Jurassic Park Lost World and Jurassic Park 3.
Nice, yeah. I had to go back and look and make sure I pre-ordered it. Yes, I did on February 1st. So.
Good.
Yeah, that's fun because I know I think we've talked about it before. How there's all these Star Wars behind the scenes and visual dictionaries and all these different things, and yeah, they're great. And to see Jurassic kind of get into that sort of territory and make a visual guide is really cool. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that.
For sure. 192 pages too, so it's going to be like a pretty substantial book, and again covering 3 movies, so nice. I'm excited. I hope there's some stuff in there that we haven't seen.
Yeah, and if it does well, maybe we'll get a Jurassic World trilogy one later.
For sure. So that's exciting. Not every day we get to talk about an art book here on the show. Another thing that I think we kind of touched on a couple times earlier on in the show with the Amber Collection reveals was Beyond the Gates. It's a new, I guess you would call it almost like a program at Target. That was sort of the brainchild of our friends at Jurassic Outpost, which is, it's sort of like this monthly event where they're revealing Mattel Jurassic toys and I guess some Funko Pop too for Target on Target.com. It's a lot like Mando Mondays, where you watch a video, kind of hype up a toy release, and then that day you get to pre-order it. Kind of fun.
Super fun. And it's really cool to see Mattel connecting with fans on some level, because they've been very mum lately, and so to see them kind of getting together with some fans and showcasing some new product for everybody to see is cool. I mean, I'd love Mattel to be a lot more vocal about brand new releases and really hype things up for us, maybe tease things and then unveil them, around a special point, in time. And but this is great, and they did a really good job. Chris did an awesome job, in front of the camera there. He's very professional, very very legit, and and it was Caleb Burnett, another Jurassic fan that composed the music for that, and he did a really good job with that too. I thought it was from the film, but no, actually Caleb did that music, so that was really nice.
That's awesome. I did not know that. And yeah, Chris did a great job in front of the camera and behind it. I mean, I think he filmed all the dinosaur figure footage too. What I love about this particular first episode of Beyond the Gates is it's all about Amber Collection. It's about the Tiger Raptor and Pteranodon. And it's like Amber Collection was finally getting some official acknowledgement. I mean, this whole line has sort of just fallen. I mean, I guess it was at Comic-Con a little bit, but other than that, when the figures were coming out, they just sort of tumbled online, and people kind of shared word of mouth where to pre-order them from, right? All of them, it's like they just kind of randomly popped up. But this was like an event. It was like, here are these 2 new figures, pre-order them here, they're going to come out. Amber Collection desperately needed that sort of acknowledgement, especially this year with it going into Target, a huge nationwide retailer. So that was super exciting. And I'm not going to repeat what you said, but I mean, just the fact that Mattel's kind of connecting with fans, Universal, I think more so is connecting with outpost to do something for fans, for collectors. Just very, very exciting. Something, I've always dreamed about. So I'm happy to see it actually happen.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait to see what they have coming out next.
Right, and that's the thing. It's every month. I think it's the third Wednesday of every month they release a new episode, and a new pre-order will go out. So there's some more Amber Collection figures. Looks like they're going to reveal some Legacy Collection figures, and then a Camp Cretaceous release.
Ooh.
And also a Funko Pop. So a lot of different stuff. I think it's like all the way throughout the year. So every month there's going to be something. So they'll be busy over there.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
For sure. Another Around the Jurassic World, literally around the world, over in China. Jurassic World, the movie exhibition, opened, I think, this month. This is a little confusing because I've seen Jurassic World, the exhibition, when it was here in Chicago. But this is like the same company, but like a different version of that exhibit. It's called the Movie Exhibition and has all kinds of different stuff in there. But I want to talk about it because it has like this awesome Toro Carnotaurus animatronic. It's got an Ankylosaurus. It's got like babies. Like I think there's a baby Ankylosaurus, a baby Parasaurolophus that they carry around. I mean, it just looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah, I've looked at some of the pictures, and I unfortunately I never was able to make it to when we had it here in the U.S. I mean, it wasn't anywhere close to where I live.
No, it wasn't, and it didn't go anywhere on the West Coast. What's up with that?
Yeah, so hopefully, if once things return to normal, hopefully they'll bring it back because I'd love to go in there and see it. But yeah, I mean, all this stuff looks really cool.
For sure, it's sort of a hybrid movie. A hybrid museum exhibit / immersive experience. So it seems like every new version of it gets a little more intense, and this latest one looks great. I know when I went and saw it in Chicago, I was really impressed, and there was only a few dinosaurs in that. So I think that the expectation is that they're making a few different versions of this exhibit so they can have it sort of everywhere in the world at some point, at all times, right?
Yeah.
Not just here it is once in Pennsylvania, here it is once in Illinois. So I'm sure we'll get some version of this here in the States at some point when the world opens back up.
When things open back up.
Yeah. Right. Sort of surreal seeing the footage of this exhibit that opened because it's kind of packed. But it's China. Everyone's wearing masks. I don't know. I guess that's how they're doing it over there. So
yeah, maybe they've been vaccinated. I don't know.
It's surreal for me to see a crowded exhibit like that. But
yeah.
But I mean, the stuff's got to keep happening, I guess, and hopefully, here in the States, we'll be getting that exhibit here in a safe manner soon enough.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Last thing we have to talk about, a lot to talk about here probably, Camp Cretaceous. Last episode we talked about the season 2 trailer, and now look, season 2's out. So a lot we could talk about with that.
Yeah, we recorded right before it came out. So, we didn't get to, we're following up finally. So, Yeah, season 2. I don't know where to start with season 2.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting to me about season 2, I love season 1, blew all my expectations away. It just, everything about it was a little bit more mature than I was expecting, a little more believable, all that stuff. Season 2 for me, I mean, to be totally frank, I felt like it was like fulfilling all of my worst fears I had for the first season. I didn't hate it. I mean, it still had a lot of awesome stuff in it. The T-Rex was amazing. But there was a lot of stuff in it too where I was just like, oh, this feels like a kid's show. This doesn't feel like, this isn't treading the line as well as the first season did.
Yeah, I feel similarly. I really loved season 1. I had low expectations, and it was, it exceeded them. Like it was really, really well handled. And I know we talked about it, and I love how all the characters, each had an arc, and we got to see other aspects of the island, and that was all great. And then, of course, you had the McDonald's promotion at the time, which helped. This time, though, it is a little more kiddie, I guess. It is a little bit more outlandish.
Yeah, outlandish.
Slapstick.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And that's not to say it's all bad. I mean, it's still fun. It's still an animated Jurassic TV show. So in terms of seeing dinosaurs and seeing the kids get into all sorts of trouble, we still have that.
Yeah.
But just some of the way in which some of that stuff happens, is a little bit out there.
Right. And you mentioned the character arcs in the first season and sort of being so impressed with those. That was my issue with season 2. It's like they all reset. It was like Brooklyn was back to being a brat and Kenji was back to being, sort of more important than everyone else. It was like, I thought you guys grew. I mean, yeah. I get that you can't be like, and everyone's perfect now. We're going into second season, but I wish they'd kind of had different problems to explore.
Right. Tim, are you saying that season 2 of Camp Cretaceous is the Last Jedi of Camp Cretaceous?
I'm not saying that. Oh, no. And I don't think we have time to talk about that tonight. But no, it is not The Last Jedi. It did not subvert my expectations. It didn't, make Bumpy grow wings and fly or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, the other thing that you mentioned, too, was about, the first season kind of being this island trotting adventure. This was a little bit smaller scale. We kind of, stuck within the same hunting trail, if you will. We kind of stayed in the same few environments in this second season, so this felt like a little bit of a smaller story.
Yeah, that's true. And just kind of the way it started out, one of the big concerns the kids have is, where are we going to build our new settlement or whatever you want to call it, their treehouse that they end up building. But it's, I know I've talked to you about this before, but just it just kind of kills me. Why wouldn't you use the big hotel that's right there in the park?
Yeah.
It's just there. There's nobody there.
That's where
use
I would
the
go.
Hotel. Yeah, that's where I would go too. I'd stay in the penthouse. Why not?
Maybe it's infested with compies or something, and we just don't know. But there's so many hotels. You look at those vistas in Jurassic World, the movie. I mean, it's like there's places everywhere. It makes Disney World look like Six Flags. It's there's so many resort areas that you'd think they'd be able to find something. But I did like those first 3 episodes when they were on Main Street. That stuff is fantastic. Looking for those beacons and the fake palm trees. I mean, that stuff, I know you too, as a theme park fan. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, that was neat. I love when they're on Main Street as well.
Yeah.
I wonder why we haven't seen the control room yet. Just because I think have they gone into the Innovation Center this season or last season?
I don't think so. I mean, this season they've activated the projection in front of it, but I don't know if they've actually went inside of it. We haven't really seen any of that sort of derelict interiors that we'd recognize from the movie necessarily. Yeah. That'd be great though. That would be cool.
Yeah, because you'd kind of think that the control room might be one of the most secure places on the island, but they might not be aware of it, I guess.
You're still trying to plot the best place to survive in Jurassic World. So
I'm overthinking it, Tim.
Drop Victoria off in Isla Nublar, and she's going to the hotels, and she's trying every door. And then she's going to the control room. I'm going to Mount Sibo. That's where I'm going. When we get that. Camp out right on top. But one of the things that was cool about season 2 was a little bit of a cliffhanger. I'm trying to remember the specifics. Kenji's messing with some switch, being Kenji, and he shorts something out, and it's the camera pans to this giant kind of cooling tank or cryogenic tank with mist and fog coming off of it. And there's something inside, and then that's kind of the end. So, codenamed E750 by the number on the door. There's been a ton of speculation about what this could be. My favorite is that it's John Hammond who froze himself.
Yeah, that I guess that's a possibility, but yeah. Oh no, it's Ray Arnold's arm. Mm-hmm. They're going to clone Ray Arnold.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, it's, I think we all know where this is going. We talked about the teaser for season 3 being out, and so this is just kind of expanding on that, and but yeah, it's an interesting direction to take the series, if not a little bit repetitive, given a lot of things we've seen in the films already.
Right, and the season 3 trailer kind of brings it a step further, or I guess teaser. It's not quite a trailer. We got a broken tank. Obviously, we have the kids sort of worried about it, but we also hear this scream or this roar that this creature lets out. We see the eye. You don't get really a good sense of what it is. I mean, it's obviously a dinosaur, but I mean, it's just enough to tease you. But yeah, I mean, aren't we just kind of assuming it's probably some sort of hybrid monstrosity? It's not like it's going to be a Struthiomimus or something. Like, it's definitely going to be a carnivore, a mean one, and probably not just a run-of-the-mill species from the Jurassic or Cretaceous period. Like, it's definitely some sort of concocted monster.
Yeah, no, definitely. But maybe it's not too important to the people that left it there. I don't know, or...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they kind of got it in a hurry, but...
I just hope that we still get to see a lot of, like, just other dinosaurs. I don't want to just spend all our time running away from this, sort of like the end of Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, I want to see more of the island. I want to see, more... I mean, we've seen a good bit of it, but we haven't seen, like... the abandoned Jurassic Park, we haven't seen like that yet, or...
Oh, man, yeah, that's ripe for the picking, too.
Yeah, so there's that. There's, is the Raptor pin still out there? We could maybe see that.
Yeah.
The ravine where the Rex originally lived, like, any of that, would be cool to see again. So I'd like to see more of the island. I'd like to see... I feel like we're not going to see any more dinosaurs at this point. I think season 2 and season 1 were pretty much the same species for the most part. I think Ceratosaurus was...
Yeah, it was the only one.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but we could still see, like, Gallimimus or Dimorphodon.
True.
Some of those, I would take whatever. Or Triceratops. I mean, we haven't seen Triceratops, so...
That's so weird.
It is weird. So, I mean, I feel like that... Or Apatosaurus. And there's a lot of, like... Jurassic World species that we haven't seen. That would be awesome to get a peek at, as well as like you said, peeks at the old park. I would love that. I would love, like, finding the old tour road and some overgrown jungle explorers. That would be cool. But
the original gate.
Yeah, that'd be. But I hear. I believe this is canon that they used wood from the original gate to build the new gate. That's
what they say in Jurassic World. But
right, that stuff kind of moves around like a Mosasaur lagoon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you could still have the gate without the doors, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, or maybe they find Nedry's like decomposed like Jeep. With bones in it.
That's a kid's show for you.
I know. We're not going to see that. We're not going to see that. But
who knows? I mean, we got a whole nother season. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, some of the weird rumors I've heard. I don't even think that this is the last season. I think we still got at least one more. So it's cool that Camp Cretaceous is just sort of the gift that keeps on giving in this pandemic for all of us stuck at home watching TV.
Sure.
So
for sure. And I'm probably gonna rewatch it here pretty soon, like seasons 1 and 2. It's fun. It's a nice little distraction, and
for sure.
They're fun. And but no, I completely agree. I'm glad we don't have to wait till 2022 for season 3. Like, it's coming in May.
Yeah.
And then who knows, maybe in September we'll have season 4 or something.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love it if it also just kind of kept going until Dominion, just to sort of hold us over until then. So
yeah, maybe there'll be a time jump and it'll tie in somehow.
For sure. But yeah, Camp Cretaceous, May 21st, season 3. We'll be there.
We'll be there. And we didn't even get to talk about Ben riding Bumpy.
No, we didn't. See, to me, well, we can kind of go back to that jumping the shark they did. That was a little too much for me, running away from explosions and stuff. But the whole Bumpy Ben sort of side story and then reveal, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. And also, rest in peace, Hap.
Yeah, rest in peace, Hap. You'll never get an action figure.
Thank you for listening. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Tim. And for even more Jurassic collecting info, please check us out online. You can visit our official website, collectjurassic.com, and we're also on social media at collectjurassic on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also be sure to check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/collectjurassic.
And you can find me by visiting the Victoria's Cantina YouTube channel. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Victoria's Cantina, and on Twitter at Vic's Cantina. You can also find the Cantina Chatter podcast as well as the Discoveryland show wherever you listen to podcasts.
And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and an excellent review. Those are the park rules.
You can also get in touch with us by sending a message to the Fax Machine. That's collectjurassic@gmail.com.
So thank you for visiting, and we hope you've enjoyed your trip to the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, the park is closed. Please make your way towards the East Dock. We hope you'll book a return visit for another adventure into Collect Jurassic World.